Diadumenian was the 25th emperor of the Roman Empire, a figure who briefly ruled during the chaotic 3rd century CE, a time marked by political instability, military strife, and frequent changes in leadership. His reign was short and his life tragic, leaving little more than a brief and turbulent blip in Roman history. This summary will outline the historical context, rise, reign, and eventual downfall of Diadumenian. Diadumenian was born around 208 CE as Marcus Diadumenianus, the son of the Roman general and future emperor Macrinus. His father had risen through the military ranks and achieved prominence during the reign of the Severan emperors. Diadumenian's father had carefully cultivated his political and military power during his time as Praetorian prefect, and it was not long before he attempted to consolidate his power with the support of the Roman army. Macrinus had successfully gained the loyalty of the troops but struggled to win the favor of the Senate and the broader Roman populace. In 218 CE, a rebellion broke out led by a rival general named Elagabalus, who had the support of the Syrian legions. Elagabalus's forces quickly moved toward Rome, and after a series of bloody clashes, Macrinus and Diadumenian were ultimately defeated. Diadumenian was captured and executed, ending his brief reign and political career. Despite being made emperor by his father, Diadumenian's reign was short-lived. His death in 218 CE was a consequence of the political instability and military challenges that plagued the Roman Empire at the time. Following his death, Diadumenian faded into relative obscurity. The circumstances of his rule, however, demonstrate the highly volatile nature of Roman politics during this period and highlight the constant power struggles that occurred among the Roman elite. Macrinus's defeat and death, and the subsequent rise of Elagabalus, illustrated the fractured nature of imperial power in the 3rd century CE. Diadumenian's downfall occurred in the context of a much larger power struggle in which rival military leaders, ambitious generals, and discontented factions competed for control over the empire. The short reign of Diadumenian must be understood in the larger context of the crisis of the 3rd century, a period of great turmoil in the Roman Empire. The empire faced constant threats from barbarian invasions, economic decline, civil wars, and political fragmentation. The traditional Roman system of imperial succession, which often relied on adoption, military loyalty, and Senate approval, had become increasingly unstable. Instead, military commanders and generals became the primary sources of power, often depending on their control of legions and their ability to assert themselves through force. The crisis of the 3rd century was marked by the emergence of multiple claimants to the throne, each backed by different factions within the army or the provinces. Diadumenian's reign was but one episode in this larger crisis, as his rise and fall were influenced by these broader trends in Roman politics. Diadumenian's time as emperor was remarkably brief, lasting only a few months. Although historical sources provide only limited details about his rule, it is clear that he did not have the opportunity to make any lasting impact on the empire. His reign occurred during a period when the empire was beset by challenges, and the imperial office was increasingly seen as a prize to be claimed by force rather than a position to be earned through political skill or merit. Diadumenian's father, Macrinus, was forced to declare him co-emperor in an attempt to solidify his legitimacy. However, Diadumenian's brief tenure as emperor was largely overshadowed by his father's inability to hold power in the face of Elagabalus's rebellion. The defeat of Macrinus and Diadumenian marked a shift in Roman leadership, as the power of the military and the ability to control the legions became ever more important in determining who would hold the imperial throne. In the aftermath of Diadumenian's death, Elagabalus ascended to the throne and became one of the most infamous emperors of the 3rd century. Diadumenian's reign, such as it was, is primarily remembered for its fleeting nature and the broader instability that marked the era. His death at such a young age ensured that his reign would not leave a lasting legacy on the empire. Unlike other emperors of the time who left their mark on Roman history through military reforms, public works, or religious policy, Diadumenian's tenure was cut short before he could accomplish any significant achievements. The brief reign of Diadumenian stands as a reflection of the turmoil and fragility of the Roman Empire during the 3rd century. As part of a family caught up in the larger struggle for imperial power, his ascension to the throne was largely the result of political maneuvering and military power rather than any personal achievements. His rule was curtailed by the rise of Elagabalus, a general with strong support among the legions who ultimately displaced both Macrinus and his son. Diadumenian's reign, while short, provides a glimpse into the challenges facing the Roman Empire during a time of crisis and division. His story, though largely forgotten by history, offers an important reminder of the instability and power struggles that shaped the Roman world during this turbulent period.